In this part, I want to talk about the structures which derived from the epidermis. The nail, hair, and exocrine glands of the skin, all of them are derived from the epidermal epidermis. These structures, also known as epidermal derivatives or epidermal appendages of the integument. They form during embryonic development as portion of the epidermis invaginated into dermis. Both nails and hairs are composed of dead keratinocyte, and the exocrine glands are composed of living cells. The first structure which I want to talk about is the nail. In the nail, we have some parts which you can see it in this picture. The nails are a scale-like modification of a stratum corneum layer of the epidermis, and they can make the dorsal edge of the fingers and toes. They protect the distal tip of the digits during jumping, kicking, catching. And fingernails also assist in grasping different objects. Here you can see the nail. The distal part of the nail, which is white in color, is called free edge. And we don't have any capillary beneath it. Because of that, the color is white. This part is called nail body. The color of this part is pink because we have many capillaries beneath it. And the other part of our nail is called nail root, as you see in this picture, and the nail root is embedded in our skin. These three parts, the free edge, the nail body, and the nail root, all of them can make nail plate. The other part of nail is called nail bed. The nail bed is layer of living epidermis covered by the nail body, and here you can see the nail bed. When you continue the nail bed, you can reach the nail matrix. In the nail matrix, we have some cells which do mitotic division, and this part is actually the growing part of the nail. The other part of nail is called lanula, and the lanula is this whitish semilunar area on the proximal end of the nail body. On both sides of the nail, here and here, you can see nail folds. They are folds of skin overlapping the nail. One part of nail which attach to our skin is called eponychium or the cuticle, and this part is removed when we do manicure or pedicure. And the other part of nail, which is located beneath the free edge of the nail, is called hyponychium. This is the thickened stratum corneum over which free nail edge projects. So these are the different parts of the nail. So if I want to repeat this part, you have a free edge, you have nail body, and if we add nail root, we can have our nail plate here. The nail bed is the part of nail which is located beneath the nail body, and this part is the living part of the nail, and you can see the nail matrix in this part, which is embedded in the skin. You can see the eponychium and hyponychium in this part. You have nail folds on both sides of the nail, and this part is called free edge of the nail, and the free edge of the nail is white because we don't have any capillaries beneath it. The other derivative which we have for our skin is called hair. In this picture, you can see the structure of hair. We can find the hair almost in every part of our body. Just the palm of our hand, the sole of our feet, and also the lateral side of our feet and toes and fingers doesn't have hair. We don't have hair on our lips, and we don't have hair on some parts of the genitalia. The hair has different types, and the distribution of hair is different in different parts of our body. The hair is actually is composed of keratinized cell, and the hair come from and grow from the hair follicle, which you can see it here. The hair follicle is located in the deepest part of our dermis. We have three types of hair in our body. One type of hair is called lanugo. The lanugo are fine, unpigmented downy hair, which we can see in the last trimester of pregnancy, and also we can see it on the body of newborn. After that, lanugo changed to a hair which we call it vellus. The vellus are fine hair, and the primary hair which cover our body is vellus. We can find it in upper and lower limb. And the last type of hair is called terminal hair. They are coarser, pigmented, and longer. We have it on our scalp, eyebrow, eyelashes, and the braids of men. During puberty, the vellus is replaced by terminal hair in the axillary region or armpit and pubic region. For the hair, we have three different parts. The first part of hair, as you see in this picture, is called hair bulb. Here you can see hair bulb. The hair bulb is the swelling at the base of the hair, and it originates in dermis. The hair bulb is surrounded, the hair bulb can surround one part which we call it hair papilla. And the hair papilla is composed of connective tissue with the blood vessel. And this part is the only part of our hair which contains living cells. The next part of our hair is called root of the hair. The root is the zone of the hair which is located in the skin. You can see it in the dermis and epidermis. And after that, you can see shaft of the hair, the portion of the hair which is out of our skin. The hair itself has three different parts. One part of the hair is called hair matrix. The hair matrix is located in the center of the hair, and you can see it here. This is the hair matrix. You can see it in the base. Here we have epidermal cell which do mitotic division all the time, and they can make new cells, and the new cells are generally pushed outward. The other part of hair is called medulla. You can see medulla here. The medulla is the remnant of matrix. It's flexible and it contains soft keratin. After medulla, you can see cortex. The cortex are flattened cells which are closer to the outer part of our hair. And the keratin which we have here is hard. And after that, you can see this black line, which is the hair cuticle. This is the single cell layer which we have it around the cortex. In the histology of the hair, you can see the medulla here. Around the medulla, you can see the cortex, and after the cortex, you can see the cuticle. The cuticle is this black line which you have here. And in the bulb of hair, you can see the hair matrix, which is the living cells, the stem cells, which do mitotic division all the time. And this is the scanning electron micrograph of the skin, and you can see that the hair comes out, and these are the layers of keratin of stratum corneum. The other part of the hair is called hair follicle. Here you can see the structure of hair follicle. The hair follicle is the oblique tube which can locate and circle around the hair root. It extends into the dermis and sometimes subcutaneous layer. We have two layers for hair follicle. The inner layer of our hair follicle is epithelial tissue, and we call it epithelial tissue root sheet. And the outer part of hair follicle is composed of connective tissue, and we call it connective tissue root sheet. So we have two layers for hair follicle. One layer is inside. These are the epithelial cells originate from the epithelium, and around this epithelial root sheet you can see the connective tissue root sheet. You can see a muscle here, which is the arrector pili muscle. This is the thin, smooth muscle, and it extends from the hair follicle and attached to dermal papilla. And at the time of cold and when we are afraid of something, this arrector pili muscle go to contraction, and it can erect and elevate the hair. Our hair has different functions. One of the functions of our hair is protection. Our hair can protect our scalp from sunburn and injury. The hair which we have in our nose, in the beginning of the nasal cavity, can protect our nose from foreign particles. We call these hair vibrissia. The hair of our ears can protect our ear from entering of foreign particle. The eyelashes can protect our eyes. The eyebrows can keep sweat out of our eye. We can show some facial expression by our hair. And also the hair of our eyebrows can enhance this facial expression. And we have a heat retention. When you have goosebump, these erected hair prevent loss of heat from your body. And also the hair of our scalp can can retain heat in our body. The other function of the hair is sensation. Our hair can sense some light touch by the tactile receptor which we have in the hair. The visual identification is the other function of the hair. It can help identify age, sex, and the specific individual. And also, we have some chemical signal dispersal from the hair. And the hair can release some pheromone. There are some signals which are very important in sexual behavior. And specifically, we have it in animals. And also, we have some chemicals which are secreted by the sweat gland which we have in the axillary region and inguinal region, and these sweat can cover our hair. The color of the hair are different in different individuals. Its synthesis by the color of the hair is synthesis of melanin in the matrix of the hair, which is located near the hair papilla. We have different colors based on the genetics, environment, and hormonal factor. The color of the hair becomes lighter with age as the production of pigment and melanin decrease. The gray hair is the result of gradual reduction of the melanin, and white hair occur when we have a stopping of melanin production in our hair. The other derivative which we have for our skin is sweat glands. And we have two types of sweat gland in our skin. One type of sweat gland is called merocrine sweat gland, and one type is called apocrine sweat gland. The other name of merocrine is eccrine sweat gland, and this is the apocrine. In the chapter of glands, I talked about the differences between merocrine or eccrine secretion and apocrine secretion. In the merocrine secretion, the secretory product come to the apical border of the cells. Imagine that here you have a cell. All the products come to the apical part of your cell, and then by exocytosis they go out. We call it eccrine or merocrine secretion. But the other type of secretion is called apocrine secretion. In apocrine secretion, all the secretory product come in top of our cell, and then this part of our cell pinch off from the cell. We call it apocrine secretion because our cell lose its apical part. The sweat glands are coiled tubular glands, which we have them in the dermis. And as you see here, the sweat glands contain some duct, and the duct can convey the secretion out of the skin. The differences between these two glands are in the odor or in the smell of their product. In the merocrine sweat gland, which we have it in most parts of our body, and it's numerous and widely distributed, the discharge doesn't have the specific odor. They can make secretion, as I told you, by exocytosis. They can secrete sweat. The sweat is composed of 99% of water and 1% of other chemicals like electrolyte, metabolite, and waste product like urea. But this gland is called merocrine sweat gland. The function of merocrine sweat gland is thermoregulation. They can regulate the temperature of our body by fluid evaporation. As you see in this picture, these glands make their product, and their product can come to the hair follicle, and by the hair follicle, the secretion can go out. The sweat which is produced by this apocrine sweat gland is a little viscous. It contains proteins and lipids, and when they come on the surface of the skin, the bacteria on the surface can work on them, and because of that, they have a specific odor. You can see this apocrine sweat gland in the axillary region and also inguinal region, and the function of this gland increase at the time of puberty. Because of that, you can find differences between the odor of your armpit and the odor of the sweat in different parts of, parts of your body. The other important gland which we have in our skin is called sebaceous gland. Here you can see the sebaceous gland. The sebaceous gland is the holocrine gland. It means that the secretion are made in the cell, then the cell become bigger and bigger, and then the cell bursts. They can produce the oily secretion which we call it sebum, and the sebum can lubricate the surface of the skin, and also they can lubricate the hair. The sebum has antibacterial activity, and as you see here, all the sebaceous glands are attached to hair follicle, and the secretion go out by the hair. And the sebaceous gland increase their function at the time of puberty. I want to show you one specific cell which we have for our sweat gland. Look at this picture. This is the sweat gland cells. And the cells, as you see here, can make their secretion, and they can send it to the lumen of the gland. And then we have a duct which can convey the secretion out. This layer is the basement membrane and the extracellular matrix which we have around the epithelial cell of the gland, and you can see some blue cells here. These blue cells are called myoepithelial cells. These myoepithelial cells can go to contraction, and by their contraction they can squeeze the gland and help secretion. So we have some myoepithelial cell between the basement membrane and the epithelial cell of the sweat gland, and contraction of this muscle can help sending the secretion out. The other glands which we have for our skin are ceruminous gland. The ceruminous gland are modified apocrine sweat gland, which we can see it in the external ear canal. Their secretion can make our earwax, which we call it cerumen. This cerumen can make our external ear become completely waterproof. It can trap foreign material, and it can lubricate acoustic meatus and eardrum. And I will talk about this acoustic meatus and eardrum in the senses for you. And the other gland which we have in our skin is called mammary gland. The mammary gland are modified apocrine sweat gland. They are located in the breast, and they are functional at the time of pregnancy and lactation. They can make milk, and because the changes which we can see in the mammary gland happen during the changes which we have in female reproductive cycle, we will discuss the mammary gland in female reproductive system. So these are the glands of the skin, and in this picture you can see these different glands again. Here you have the hair follicle. As you see here, you can see bulb of the hair, you have the root of the hair here, and then you have the shaft of the hair out of the skin. You can see the sebaceous gland, which are associated with the hair follicle and send their secretion to hair follicle, and by the hair the secretion can go out. You can see the merocrine sweat gland for thermoregulation in all parts of our body, and you can see the apocrine sweat gland, which we have it in axillary region and inguinal region, and like the sebaceous gland, they can send their secretion to the hair follicle. So these are the different exocrine glands which we have in our skin. The other part is about acne. The acne, look at first this picture. You can see that these are the sebaceous gland, and here we have hair follicle. When these pore, which can help excretion of this sebum out, become clogged, become blocked, the secretion remain here, and it can make inflammation. And the treatment is using different products like salicylic acid, antibiotics, vitamin A, and some other synthetic product. And you can see that when we squeeze the acne, this pore become open, and the secretion which are oily can come out. So the acne is actually the inflammation of sebaceous gland which we have in our skin. It happens mostly during puberty, because the hormones of puberty can increase the function and secretion of our sebaceous gland. And now you can answer these questions. What are the three components of hair, the nail plate, sorry? What are the three portions of the hair? And what do sebaceous glands secrete? And where is this material secreted? The next part is about regeneration of the integumentary system, or repair of integumentary system. We have two types of repair. One type of repair is called regeneration. Regeneration means replacement of the damaged or dead cell with the same type of cells. And the other one is called fibrosis, which the gap is filled with the scar tissue. When we have regeneration, the function of that organ, that part restored. But when we have fibrosis, because we don't have the same cell like previous time, we don't have restoring of the function of that organ. The scar tissue is actually the collagen fibers and the fibroblast which can make these collagen fibers. Now, I want to show you what happened during skin damages. Look at this picture. Here you can see a cut or a problem in our skin. When we have some cut here, when we have a wound, the blood vessels are cut and we have bleeding in this part. The blood clot form and the leukocyte start to clean the wound. The clot is a temporary barrier for pathogens and it doesn't let the pathogens to come inside. And you can see that this is the blood clot and the macrophages and the other white blood cells like neutrophil migrate to this part and start fighting with pathogens. And the fibroblast migrate here and start to making connective tissue. Here you see that the fibroblast make collagen fibers and the connective tissue is made here. And the macrophages start to engulf all dead part of the skin and also the pathogens. And you see that regeneration happen here. But we have regeneration in epidermis. Our dermis doesn't regenerate and the scar tissue is created here. You see that the orientation of the collagen fibers are different from the other part of our skin. So we have this cap here or the scar tissue at the site of wound. The wound healing dependent on the extent of injury. We need longer time for wider and deeper surfaces. And when we have severe damages, it takes a long time to go back to the original condition. The hair follicle, the exocrine gland, the nerves, and the erector pili muscle cannot restore themselves and they cannot build again. And so you see that at the part of the scar tissue, we don't have any growth of hair follicle and the hairs. And in this picture, you can see the keloid, which is created in the site of injury. And we have one problem in our skin, which we call it psoriasis or psoriasis. This is the chronic autoimmune skin disease. The keratinocytes are attacked by the T lymphocyte. It's that the immune system can fight with their own cell. And they can cause a rapid overgrowth of new skin cells. We have patches of whitish, scaly skin on epidermal surface. Specifically, it happens in the back of the neck, in the elbow, and also on the knee, on the surface of knee. It has itching, pain, and skin cracking. The treatment is using corticosteroid, UV light therapy, and we have different types of medication which can help decreasing the symptom, but they cannot do treatment because this is the autoimmune disease which happen inside the body. The other thing which is important for this chapter is Botox and wrinkles. You know that when we have wrinkles on the surface of our face, we can use Botox as the treatment. And actually, the Botox is the toxin of one bacteria, which we call it Clostridium botulinum. And this toxin can block nerve impulses to the facial muscles. The facial muscle become paralyzed, and then we cannot move them and we cannot see any wrinkles. The effect of Botox is completely temporary, and after 2 or 3 months, the muscles can go back to their normal function. And now you can answer these questions. What two primary germ layers which can form the integument for us? What are the origin of nail, hair, and gland? And explain how the skin ages and which factor can affect the aging of the skin. For the last question, you need to search the question and in Google, and then you can tell me which factors can age our skin.